Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about memoir. What is it? And a few interesting facts about how it's written, including one, it's autobiographical or biographical in nature, and that sets it apart from other types of writing. Sometimes it doesn't fall into a fiction category, it falls into a nonfiction category, and that's kind of interesting. Two, they can be detailed and therefore difficult to write. And three, they're usually entertaining, but sometimes not. And that's kind of important, and you need to know how to do this. So stay tuned. I'll be right back, and we're going to dive right in. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Kim Smith, author of In the Holler, a romantic women's fiction that just released on April the 15th. It's out there at Amazon and ready for you to go and get your copy, and I would love it if you would do that. It's a wonderful book, and I enjoyed writing it, and I am just thrilled to death that it's finally available. Now today, we're going to talk about memoir. Memoir, what is it? Let's get into some details. So one of the things that you should remember about writing a memoir is, what is it? It's an autobiographical or a biographical retelling of the details of your life. And because of that, it can be a little bit hard to write because sometimes you don't want to tell the details of your life. Sometimes you feel like the details of your life are very private, and sharing it with the general public just doesn't work for you. So think about that before you embark on this journey to write a memoir. Also, a memoir and the writing of a memoir can take a long time because there's a lot of detail work that has to go into it. And that makes it difficult for you to write and hard for a reader to read. A lot of things that we think are important in our life is not quite so entertaining to a reader. That is warning number 2 for you if you're planning on writing a memoir. I think it would be safe to say that the most popular reason a memoir is not entertaining is because the author of it focused more on telling the reader about the incidences of their life. You know, it really goes without saying in a memoir, showing versus telling plays a huge role. Who wants to read 200 or 300 or 400 pages of incidences relayed without any kind of emotion or connectivity to something in our own lives? That's the most important thing. And so if you wanted to write a memoir, you could choose some sort of theme that's universal that a reader can identify with. So a good place to begin is to formulate the idea or the theme that you'd like to create for your memoir. And there's a few things you can ask yourself as the author, and once you've answered those questions, then you can begin to apply them to the reader who's going to be reading your memoir. Number 1, what should the reader take away from reading your memoir? What should they take away from it? What are they going to learn from it or gain from reading your memoir? Are you trying to relay a message of this is what I did, don't do this? Are you relaying a message of hope? This happened to me, but look what happened afterwards. There's a lot of different themes that you can choose from when writing a memoir, and I suggest finding one if that's what you want to write. And finally, you guys, remember, a book's life is a very, very long-term thing. And you're going to be known for what you put between the pages of that nonfiction memoir. So be very mindful of what you relay in your memoir. You know, a memoir is a living, breathing entity just like any other nonfiction book. And especially for people who are close to you. Be mindful of who might read it. Family members, friends, if they've been included in the content of that memoir, it might be a very big deal. They'll recognize themselves on the pages of your book. They're not going to not see themselves in the characters that you've created about them. And, you know, what would a memoir be if we didn't include our family and friends? Oftentimes, you should probably get permission before you use them in the pages of a book. Generally, it's a good idea to make your book end up relating to you today. In some form or fashion, we would like to see the whole story arc. We'd like to see where you were in the beginning of your memoir and where you are now and how you've changed. Just like any other book with characters in it, we enjoy that character arc and seeing how things have changed, progressed, and grown throughout the whole course of the book. That's really all I have for you today, you guys. I am so thrilled to be able to provide this little video for you about memoir. I have not written a memoir, but if you have, or if you have information about writing memoir, please leave me a comment down below. I love comments and I try and answer each one that I get. Until next time, you guys,